Let's get started with our survival reliability analysis. Now, let's have a mental map first. If I give you a set of data, can you use proc life test to plot it, the difference there? Can you do that? And the second question is that when you use that, can you use the log rank test? And SAS provide a couple other Paul Whitney tests, different tests, to show that if the two step functions are significantly different. Can you do that? Or three, using the log rank test, p-value significantly different or not significant difference to say that the two step functions the same or different. Can you do that? Proc life test. This is no different from your Excel file approach. Just you let SAS do it. Okay? Now, if you can do that, now I'm going to ask you tricky questions. A lot of time when you buy insurance is something similar. If I have two variable, say taking the medicine or not taking a medicine, and actually we don't see any significant difference between the two, okay? And the other one is that suppose they are significantly different, but the parameter of the differences is very, very small. In other words, is this: I can tell that there are two step function, and the two step function looks exactly, they just shift a tiny bit. If they shift a tiny bit, then you know that CVAR value not going to change much, okay? So now here's the challenge questions for you to think about. I have two variables that are not significantly different, or they are significantly different, but the impact on my CVAR value, on my risk, really not much difference. Why insurance company, or sometimes when you try to provide people options, and people like to have that options. You follow me? Is statistics basically said that, hey, I have two functions. They're not significantly different. Or they are significantly different, but the impact on my conditional value at risk is not big. Can you guys speculate why people still want to have that options?
Like the idea of options?
Exactly. Good idea. A good question. A good answer. I think I mentioned this probably at the beginning of the semester. Baskin-Robbins, okay, I'm going to get sued by them, or Ben & Jerry, or those chain ice cream store. A lot of time, if you compare their ice cream with, say, let's go to one of the country farm, in a suburb, okay? A lot of time, the mom and pop operation, the ice cream, the local farm, actually the quality is much, much better. But usually they don't only have vanilla or chocolate ice cream, one or two options. And you ask the kids, most of the kids say, would you like to go to the local ice cream store, or you like to go to Baskin-Robbins, with all kinds of different topping, different corn, different waffle. Most kids will say that they prefer to go to the one with a lot of choice, okay? So on one hand, put it down somewhere, okay? This is the concept questions that you could be asked in the interview. Options provide utility value, okay? People always think that, oh, I can make choice. I have options. That's utility value. But on the other hand, people don't like to have too many options. If you go order food from a restaurant, they ask you, what kind of salad do you like? Okay, would you like to have cucumber with or without cucumber? What kind of salad dressing? You want to put the dressings in the salad or you want to put it in a cup. A lot of time when you give too many options, people hate it. People like to, have the illusion that they're making decisions, but don't confuse them or let them feel like there are a lot to do. And this is totally related to psychology or psychophysics, okay? But here is the part I would like you to understand is that on one hand, we can calculate it. And then the live test already said that there's nothing going on. And why you want to do 2 regression or 3 regression is that I have options. Would you like to go for the, extra compensation, extra protections? In reality, the extra protection doesn't protect anything. Either the live test saying there are no significant difference between the 2-step function, or even there are statistical significant difference. But based on your VAR, where you make the cut, the leftover value of that CVAR value really provide nothing significantly financially. The impact is very, very small. But sometimes you see that the company offers that because people like to feel like they're having options, okay? And you can tell that if you order computer or a lot of electronics, mobile phone online, a lot of times they give you different choices, okay? Some people, they just click, click, click. They feel like they're making a lot of decisions. But if you really compare the 2 groups with options and without options, actually the fundamental are pretty much the same. But people like the feeling, the illusion they're making decisions, okay? And so if I give you a homework right now and said that, let's say that the inmate parole groups, you just doing live tests and then have different variable to plot a strata. Okay, that's one. The second thing is that I want to make sure that everybody can do the module. Okay. Everybody can do live regression now, right? Probably live regression. And in the live regressions, let me. Get in here. Okay, in a live regression, there are 2 different types of live regressions. Usually, whatever the functions are, and of course in this class now I'm focusing on Weibo because one example can be used in many cases. Okay, now if I have 2 regressions, how did you get a regression without any variable? How to do that? Do you remember how to do that to have a regression without any variable? In prop live reg, what did you do? What do you need to do in order to get to this regression? How to build the live regression for baseline model, how to do that? No. Right now we're not talking about strata. I'm just talking about a regression, just nothing. Just saying that here is a set of data. How to do that? Anybody remember? Equal, no variable. So when you build a live regression, you build a regression this way. remember? You build regressions if you equal product life reg equal nothing. Okay? Means that don't give me any explanation. Don't give me any differences. Just give me a bland ice cream. Okay? Equal to that. Now, so if I want to build something, okay, I want to put one variable or two variable in, I put the variable in, and then when you have different variable, you end up with different regression, and now you need to plot the regressions, okay? And here is the plot I'm talking about, okay? I have a regression like this, and this is the linearized part, right? So we can build an inverse function of that, and we can build it directly. But before we do that, we need to figure out what is our lambda value. And to do the lambda value, you need to basically do the following, okay? Figure out where the lambda coming from. Lambda is equal to the intercept beta 0. Okay, this is the part I want you to pay attention to. Here, I only have intercept involved in the lambda approximation. See that? D1. And look at this one. Okay, this one I have a lot of things involved, and how to figure out those things. Okay, and here, okay. Of course, you can directly and say that, oh, SAS will give it to me, okay? But the way how you get the value here is, what I'm saying is that pay attention here. If you get this right, you can do the next complex homework, okay? I have a 441 approximations done, and this 441, okay, here, the lambda value, it's only one thing's involved. Beta 0 divided by the scale, sigma, which is lambda scale. Okay, so compare this one with this one. Let me do it here. Okay. I want you to compare the, you have this Excel file, right? Compare J2 column versus I15. What's the difference between J2 and I17? Please compare them and tell me what's the difference between this one and this one. This is the critical part that we make our example critical here. Baseline, I only have what? The intercept divided by the scale, right? Agree? And here, this is 441, okay? You can say that it's equal to, okay? The intercept, but obviously I have something more than the intercept, And what are the things more than the intercept? A bunch of parameter times those variable. And in this case, I'm talking about a subject with all those variables under consideration, with finance, age 30, race, no work experience, marriage status, yes, and this. Okay? So what if I said that, oh, we want to use the same model, but this time I'm going to compare with a subject, finance, no finance, and age 35, race 0, work experience, let's just say still no. Marriage status, no. And previous parole, no. And prior, no. Okay? So, see, this guy I just create is different from this guy. Agree? Agree? So, if they are different, their physical conditions are different. So their curve, the CDF curve, shouldn't be the same. Agree? So if I do that, so all I need to do is I'll have a sum product. This time is all these things come with or here. And let me make it a little bigger. Huh? Some product. Oh, I got it wrong. Okay? So now you see his value is 1.42 beyond the intercept. Here is 1.51 beyond the intercept. See that? What's the difference between the two? Are not due to the baseline differences, are due to the variables involved. You follow me? Young man in the back, you see, you guys see that? Because if you're not, I don't want you, the homework gonna be a lot more complex or a lot more detailed than this. Okay? First thing first, I want you guys tell me, do you understand what's the difference between this variable and this 1.51 and this 1.42 coming from? One is using this set of variable. One is using this set of variables. So this is a human subject A, human subject A and versus human subject B. Agree? But are they using the same intercept? Why are they using the same intercept? Because we say that our model is this complex with the same intercept. So once you do that, okay, now if you look at this 441 coming from, okay, if I said, hey, I don't want you to compare, I want you to compare this guy versus this guy, then all I need to do is doing what? Switching the E22 value to this value. Agree? Can anybody explain to me what's the differences between, here is originally I have E11 plus E12. But now if I switch from E11 plus A22, what's the difference between the two? The parameters are the same, but the covariate value are not the same. This guy is older, and everything's 0, 0, except his older. And this one is 5 years younger with a lot of other variable value activated. Agree? Okay, so if I do that, and here I just change the value to this one, okay? What will happen is that my lambda value will change. And once my lambda value changed, here is not 0.441. I should use this new lambda value. And you can figure out the lambda value here, okay, directly using the, well, what I'm saying is this. Here. If I, no, let me do this one first. If I do a FT here, see here, I'm using the lambda value and the Weibull shape value based on this. So without variable, without any variable. So this is a baseline model. Okay? This baseline model, without using any variable, which lambda should I use? This lambda. And this alpha value, agree? Oh, because this is the one I'm using the base equal nothing. This is the one I built based on nothing. Okay? And this is the one with variable. Then the regressions I have is based on the variable. But how many, here, let me ask you this. How many ST can I build, technically speaking? How many ST can I build with the variable? Infinite, right? I can have different age, different everything, keep changing. Everything will change, right? Here, I'm showing the two examples here. This two examples showing what? One is this, one is this. Can I build another one here saying this one is 1, this or this one is 1? Can I do that? Every time when you do that, the value will change. But you can tell. Now I change to 1.81, and then my lambda value will build accordingly. I mean, do you get it? You want to walk through with me for once, for fun? Okay. If I give you a set of variable, say this is in main data, I just want you to build a baseline model. How do you build it? Your regression should be proc live test. Should be, let's just, your SAS code should look like this, equal to nothing, right? Agree? This will give you what kind of output? This will give you this output, right? Agree? And if you have this set of output, can you build your regression curve without look like this? Can you do that? Victoria, can you do it? Can you build a ST and FT look like this based on there's no variable? Yes? Okay, young man, can you do it? Okay. Okay, how to do that? You need a lambda value, right? You need the Weibull shape value, right? There are two variables we needed. Where are those two values? You need to find your lambda, and you need to find your shape, right? So look at here. We need a lambda, we need a shape. And lambda is based on only the intercept divided by the scale. Okay? Now, next, can you build a curve with all the variable? And of course, if I do that, I will see that with all the variables, okay, their curve. So the top is no variable, the bottom is with variable. And look at it with variable. Can you see that it dies slower than the baseline? Okay? Now, but this dies slower is based on which kind of conditions? It's based on these conditions, right? Now, if I change the condition and say, oh, this guy is much older, or this guy, for example, this guy is much, much younger, I'll go for this set of variable. And when the variable changed, the sum of those covariate will change. Agree? And when the sum of the covariate will change, will the lambda value changed? Like here is 0.49, okay? And then if I'm using 0.49, my shape parameter and my lambda parameter will change accordingly. And so you will generate another curve. Agree or disagree? Okay, so actually here, I want you to think carefully, okay? There are two different things I can ask you to make decisions. One is when you play with SAS, this is the SAS output based on I put everything in there. I'm worried about everything, okay? But I can say that, hey, I don't care about certain things. You know, I said that I only care about finance and age and the prior. Can I build a regression only based on 3 variables? Can I do that? And of course, I can say, oh, why I use those 3? Because those 3 in the live test looks neat, looks significant. But if I build the live regression based on 3 variables, how many parameters are you going to have for your regression? If I only have this 3, I run it. See, I'll have a regression with only 3 variables. And if I have the regression only have 3 variables, okay, do you need to know? So I'm building this policy based on 3 variables, and at this point, do you need to know their marriage status? You don't need to know their marriage status because marriage status is not part of the variable. Agree? But when you calculate to generate your lambda, your shape parameter, do you need to use all those variables involved? Yes, because now if you go back to the regression here, the regression will be only what? So if I build a regression here, it will be a regression based on this table. Okay? So if I build a regression based on this table, let me insert. Okay. Oh, that's not enough. Okay, so what I'm saying is this. let's just say that, actually look at it here, significant, 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 or significant now, right? So I just say, hey, I want you to use all the variable here. So if I use all the variable, what are the parameters involved? You need to know. You need to know, do you need to know the intercept, beta 0? Because you always need the intercept. Because intercept, here is the intercept of what? Nothing at all. Here is the intercept of what? The intercept of how many things? 1, 2, 3, 4, 7 things involved. Here is the intercept, how many things involved? 3 things involved. Look at the intercept. I have 2 questions. Are they the same or different? They're somewhat different, right? And why they're somewhat different is because when you have different variables involved, your slope changes a little bit. When your slope change, your intercept will raise up and down a little bit. So to build your model here, you need to have all the variables involved. And then, of course, you need to figure out your Weibull shape, Weibull scale, Weibull shape parameter. And, but to do that, what I really want you to pay attention to is this. Now I can have what? Finance, yes or no. Age, I can say, oh, yeah, I have a 20-year-old. And then a prior is yes. If that, you're going to build a set of combinations with a lot more variables. Follow me? And if you do that, your sum product should be what? The sum product should be only these 3 things involved to get to that value. Agree? Huh? Okay. And then when you try to calculate your lambda, you need this guy and this guy. Okay? So who want to volunteer, help me this time? If I said that, hey, I would like you to build a model, compare with the baseline model with 3 variables, this time finance, age, and prior. And then I would like you to build 2 FT function or ST function. One is no finance, 20 years old, and with 1 prior. Versus with finance. Okay, so I have 2 guys I would like you to compare here. Okay, 20-year-old without finance support and 20-year-old with financial support. Can you compare and generate 2 ST curves now for me? What's involved? And of course, first I will say, what's the meaning of doing this? Do you guys think that the financial support may be very important for a 20-year-old or very important for a 40-year-old? I will argue the opposite way, but that's something you need to investigate. Why? I think 40-year-old may have kids ready for college, and of course, you know, that's, he got more financial burden, so he needs to figure out where's the money more than a 20-year-old. 20-year-old without family, without child support, he probably can say that, hey, I can live with minimum means, right? And how to figure that out? People walk with me step by step. I want you to compare two ST for this simple model. What would you do? Step one, I'll say proc life test. Strata with finance, without finance. Maybe I'll have some age groups differences to plot a different age. Okay, I can plot with prior, without prior. Can I do proc life test with different strata? And as a documentation, see if there's significant differences or how the two-step function look different. Can you do that? Can you plot finance, age, and prior in proc life test? Yes or no? Doable, right? Next, for live regression, I said that here are the three variables the policymaker considers important. Can you build a live regression based on nothing and based on these three things? Can you do that? How? Do a prop live reg with these three variables. Agree? Oh, remember, okay, whatever I said in the class, when I give you the big homework, I'm not going to use exactly the same. I'm just making an example. Can you have a regression based on these three variables? Doable or not doable? If I say 4 variable, 5 variable, how many variable, you can do it, right? And once you run that, you should have a table involved here. Agree? And what do you care? You care is significant. You care, so significant means what? It makes sense, right? In this case, you see finance doesn't make too much sense, but age makes sense, prior makes sense. But for some reason, the policymaker says that I want to keep the finance in. Even the finance value is quite big or quite small, okay? So now, how are you going to use this table once you generate this table? You put this table like this table with variable, with the Weibull shape parameter, and then you do a sum product to figure out those values and turn those values into your lambda hazard function value. And remember very, very carefully here, the intercept, you're using the old one or using the new one. You're using the model you use here, okay? Because you have several intercepts. We will compare them in the CVAR, but in the CVAR comparison, is basically have a different cut, different shape function, different everything. Follow me? So the next things I need you to tell me, wiggle your finger. Can you figure out how to get your lambda under different model now? Good? Good? Okay. So now you have the different lambda model, and you have the different shape parameter. Okay? Okay. So now, can you build different ST and FT? As long as you have your alpha value and your shape value, okay? Once you do that, look at here. This is the one, okay? With my lambda value and my shape parameter, okay? If you do that, you will generate always a FT and ST. Agree? So once you have a lambda in your shape parameter, can you generate those curves? Can you? Okay. If you can generate those curves, what will be the next things we're interested in? Calculate the I3. The CVAR value equal to now we need to calculate I3. Okay? So to calculate I3, you guys need to learn how to do I3 using SAS. SAS has a proc IML, and you can copy the code I give you here, okay, and plug into SAS. Too many things. Redo it. Okay, and this really is about computation, okay, of your CVAR value. And so here, everything is copy-paste, except here there are two values you need to do. One is 1.4, one is the shape parameter, and one is the uh, 1.4, and this value, 0.8%, or what is the percentage? That's the value I'm going to give you, okay? That basically give us different level of integral. But first, I want you to run the SAS, okay? The SAS will return you back the integral. And the integral is, here, let's go to SAS, proc, IML, oh, I got it wrong, proc, IML, and QUAD. Okay, and QAD basically give you the integral. And so please go through this set of material. It will basically show you, consider the integrations from 0 to infinity. So you add and to a positive value to that's to the positive infinity, and this is another regression. So I think I don't have enough time to get into the I3 comparison today, but please read this, because the next thing we're going to get into is first copy this, and this is where the parameter coming from. The parameter is from this table, right? 0.441, and we need a 0.441, okay? and we need the shape parameters. Okay, and so I will, before I get into how to do the integral, from here to here or from the top or bottom, I will save this homework for next run. First, let's break the homework into the smallest piece. Everybody show hands. Can you use live test with strata to plot different step function? Good? Okay. Next, can you use live regressions to build a baseline? Means that no variable. Can you do that? And that's just a simple regressions, simple ST curve. But then, can you have, based on different policy, and people said that, I want to have certain variable involved, to use SAS to figure out those parameters. Can you do that? Prop-like regression. And then, once I have the policy with all the parameters, that means how many curve ST can you generate? Infinite. Depends on the value you're going to plug in to those variable, right? And if you do that, can you generate tons of ST curve? Okay? So if we do that, the next things we can do is here. Okay? And originally I want to do the homework or everything today, and then I just realized maybe that's too much. Here. If I do that, can I have a curve and say that, I want to use 80% of my beta here. So, I'm sorry, beta is 20%. And it means that I start from here to here. Can I have a beta 80%? Or I can say that, based on this curve, can I say that I'm going to have a review of all the inmates after 300 weeks. Can I do that? So, or can I have that under 200 weeks and say that I'm going to review everybody after 200 weeks. If I do that, if I have my 200 here, where is my I3? I3 is the shadow area above the red curve. Agree? Agree? If I said that I have a VAR equal to 200, my I3 area is the shadow above the red. Agree? Disagree? Everybody? If I give you a curve, any curve, or you plot any curve based on different policy, different subject variable, then you will have a different curve, right? And once you have a different curve, now we're trying to say that how to calculate the I3 area. The I3 area, can I say that, I want to check my VAR. I check my VAR after 200. So that will be the shadow area above the red curve, that much. What if I said I want to check the shadow area under 100, after 100? Then that should be, that should be right here. Can you see that? I3 should be, if my VAR set at 100, the I3 should be the shadow area, the highlighted area above the red curve. Yeah?
So, is it, you go with that?
Okay, you make up a number for me.
I just have a question.
Mm-hmm.
about it. So like, you extended it to the red at the corner of 100.
Right.
I guess.
I can do 300.
Is that because we're tracking the red line and not the blue?
No, yeah, exactly. Actually we're tracking is I3 by definition is from 100% to the red curve. That's our I3. But your question is, it's beyond what I'm trying to ask you to think about is, I have different 300, 200. I can set up my VAR according to my psychophysics, right? So I can have a short VAR. If I have a short VAR, say 100, my I3 should be what? Huge. Agree? If I have a very, very heavy VAR, my I3 should be smaller, right? Intuitively. Can you see that? There's another way you can do I3. This is what I said in the first week, is that I can use beta value. Can I use beta equal to 20%? And if I use beta equal to 20%, where's my I3? Is anything's above here, right? Can I use beta 60%? The more beta I have, the I3 should be what? Getting bigger and bigger if I have large beta. Okay, so this is the game I want you to think about before I show you the integral. Because a lot of time people say, oh, what integral? I just plug in SAS. And when I work in the field, I can just by one look, I know they got it wrong. Why? Because VAR, here, answer the question. VAR increased without looking at the curve. VAR increased, I3 should increase or decrease. VAR increase, I3 should increase or decrease. Value at risk, I'm going to wait and wait and wait. My I3 will get smaller and smaller. Okay? Now, turn around. If I said that my beta value is increasing, my I3 should increase or decrease. My beta from 20% to 40% to 60% increase. When beta increase, your I3 should increase. Okay? Please first get that intuitions in your head when you play with the homework, because if you can get that right, when I ask you to do the integral, it's not garbage in, garbage out. You will have a feeling about, hey, this policy doesn't make sense for this group of people. Or this policy make a lot of sense for this group of people. You follow me? A lot of time, actually, this can, if you're really studying this to write a dissertation, people actually try to figure out where is that sweet spot. You know, I will wait until this point. I'll give you one example. Usually, when you buy an American car, how many years of warranty they give you in the old days? 10 years, 5 years? Why do they set it up that way? Because they know that American consumer tend to, if they're buying a new car, every 3-4 years they will throw their car away, get a new one. So their initial warranty is, set it up, right? Their car is good enough until they buy a new car. You follow me? Do you think it's a good idea or bad idea to say, I'm going to give you lifetime warranty? Huh? From a production standpoint, it could be bad, right? Because you have to take care of these things forever. So what is the right warranty policy? Is this investment going to end up doing? Survival analysis. 20 years ago, Department of Energy gave wind turbine, saying, oh, we want to build wind farm. Guess what's the number one problem right now? A lot of old wind farm is not working anymore. And where are you going to trash all those, recycle all those blades, those transmissions? It's getting a nightmare there. So setting up the beta VAR value now, I want you to start thinking about, so we're really talking about, okay, how much beta do I want? What kind of VAR do I want? So I can have the right amount of CVAR, compare one policy with another policy. Okay, see you next time.